Do you know what's strange about Sam Elliott? He never planned to become a legend. He didn't chase fame, scandals, or headlines. In fact, at one point, he almost quit before anyone even knew his name. Sam Elliott was born in 1944, far away from the glamour people associate with Hollywood. His childhood wasn't filled with movie sets or famous faces. It was grounded, strict, and realistic. His father was a hard man, practical, disciplined, and deeply skeptical of dreams that didn't come with a paycheck. When young Sam said he wanted to be an actor, the response wasn't encouragement. It was dismissal. Acting wasn't a career. It was fantasy. And that doubt didn't come from strangers. It came from home. Sam grew up tall, quiet, observant. He wasn't the loud kid. He wasn't chasing attention. But there was something about him that stood out even then. A presence and a voice. Deep, calm, unshakable. At the time, no one thought that voice would change his life. If anything, it made him feel out of place. In school, he wasn't the star. He wasn't the rebel. He was the guy who watched, listened, and absorbed everything. And somewhere deep inside, the idea of acting never left him. Even when everyone around him told him it was unrealistic, he tried the safe route: college, stability, responsibility, but it didn't last. Eventually, Sam made the decision that would define his entire life. He dropped out and went to Los Angeles. No connections, no famous last name, no backup plan, just a belief that he had to try, even if it failed. Hollywood didn't welcome him. Casting rooms rejected him again and again. Too tall, too old, too rough, too masculine. His voice, the thing that would later become iconic, was seen as a problem. It didn't fit the polished, pretty image Hollywood wanted at the time. So Sam worked wherever he could. Construction jobs, random labor, anything that paid rent. Acting became something he chased at night and on weekends, while survival took over his days. Years passed like this, watching others quit, watching people go home, watching dreams quietly die. And more than once, Sam came dangerously close to doing the same. Then came a loss that shaped him forever. His father died before ever seeing Sam succeed, before ever believing that acting could be more than a foolish dream. That moment stayed with Sam, not as anger, but as weight, a silent pressure to prove something that no longer had an audience. His early roles were small, almost invisible. Soldiers, background cowboys, men without names, sometimes without lines. But the camera noticed him, even when the credits didn't. There was something about how he stood, how he spoke, how he didn't try too hard. Slowly, quietly, casting directors began to remember him. And when Sam Elliott appeared on screen with that voice, those eyes, the mustache, and the calm confidence, something changed. Audiences didn't just watch him, they felt him. Women noticed him too, not as a flashy heartbreaker, but as something rarer, a man who felt solid, trustworthy, real. He wasn't loud, he didn't chase attention, and that made him stand out even more. But make no mistake, at this point, Sam Elliott was still not a star. He was still struggling, still fighting for relevance, still trying to survive in a city that eats dreamers alive. What he didn't know yet was that his refusal to become someone else would eventually turn him into something Hollywood couldn't replace. In part 2, everything begins to shift. The Western roles, the rise of his image as the ultimate American male, and why Sam Elliott never became a scandal machine like so many others. By the late 1970s, Sam Elliott had survived what breaks most actors. Years of rejection, years of background roles, years of being told he didn't fit, and yet, something quietly started to turn in his favor. Hollywood didn't suddenly fall in love with him. It slowly ran out of alternatives. There was a shift happening in American cinema. Audiences were getting tired of polished faces and perfect smiles. They wanted men who looked like they had lived, men who carried silence well, men who didn't need to explain themselves. That's where Sam Elliott finally made sense. Westerns became his doorway. Not flashy hero roles at first, but grounded, dusty, real characters. Cowboys who didn't talk much. Men with history in their eyes. His height, his posture, his voice, all the things that once worked against him suddenly became his greatest assets. One role led to another. Casting directors stopped asking him to change. They started asking him to be exactly what he already was. And then came the mustache. It sounds ridiculous, but that look became part of his myth. Not as a gimmick, but as a symbol. Sam Elliott didn't look like a movie star pretending to be a cowboy. He looked like a cowboy who accidentally walked onto a movie set. By the 1980s, his presence alone was enough to define a film's tone. He didn't need long monologues. When Sam Elliott spoke, people listened. When he stayed quiet, people leaned in. At the same time, something interesting happened with his public image. Women were drawn to him, but not in the usual Hollywood way. He wasn't the scandalous heartthrob. He wasn't chased by paparazzi for nightclub photos. Instead, he became a different kind of fantasy. The steady man, the one who doesn't cheat, the one who doesn't disappear, the one who feels safe. And that image wasn't fake. Unlike many of his peers, Sam Elliott wasn't rotating through high-profile relationships. He wasn't known for breaking hearts or collecting headlines. When love entered his life seriously, it stayed. He met actress Catherine Ross, and their relationship developed away from the chaos of Hollywood drama. No messy breakups, no tabloid wars, no public betrayals. Just two people choosing privacy over noise. In an industry addicted to attention, that choice alone made him an outsider. Career-wise, his reputation kept growing. Directors trusted him. Producers relied on him. Audiences believed him. But here's the truth most people miss. Sam Elliott still wasn't a megastar. He wasn't opening blockbusters. He wasn't dominating box offices. He was doing something more difficult, building long-term respect, the kind that doesn't fade when trends change. Then came the 1990s, and with it, a role that cemented his place in pop culture forever. When he appeared in The Big Lebowski, he wasn't on screen for long, but it didn't matter. His voice became narration. His presence became memory. People quoted him, imitated him, remembered him. By now, Sam Elliott had become something rare in Hollywood, a constant, a man who aged without losing relevance, a symbol of masculinity that didn't rely on aggression, scandal, or dominance. No arrests, no rehab headlines, no explosive interviews. And ironically, that made him even more powerful. But staying quiet doesn't mean avoiding conflict forever. For decades, Sam Elliott did something almost unheard of in Hollywood. He stayed quiet. No political rants, no viral interviews, no social media wars. While other actors burned their reputations chasing attention, Sam Elliott built his by not talking. His image was solid, dependable, almost untouchable. He was the man studios trusted, the voice brands paid for, the presence audiences respected. But time changes everything. And eventually, even the quiet ones speak. In 2022, after more than 50 years in the industry, Sam Elliott did something that shocked people more than any scandal ever could. He gave his honest opinion. During an interview, Elliott criticized the film The Power of the Dog. He didn't calculate his words. He didn't soften them. He spoke like he always had, blunt, direct, old school. He questioned the film's portrayal of masculinity, its themes, and its tone. At one point, he used language that instantly exploded across the internet. Within hours, the reaction was brutal. Headlines painted him as outdated. Social media labeled him insensitive. Some accused him of homophobia. For the first time in his career, Sam Elliott wasn't being criticized for a role. He was being criticized for who he was. The irony was sharp. This was a man who had played cowboys, soldiers, protectors, narrators of American myths. A man praised for authenticity. And now, authenticity had turned into a liability. The backlash was intense enough that Elliott eventually addressed it publicly. He didn't double down. He didn't attack anyone. He acknowledged that his words hurt people and said he regretted how they came across. To some, That apology felt unnecessary. To others, it wasn't enough. But here's the part most people missed. This wasn't a scandal rooted in bad behavior. There were no victims, no crimes, no hidden past exposed. It was a clash of generations. Sam Elliott came from a time when masculinity wasn't debated online, when disagreement didn't automatically mean cancellation, when men spoke plainly, even if it made people uncomfortable. And suddenly, that world was gone. For the first time, his silence was broken not by scandal, but by conversation he never asked to be part of. The media tried to reframe him. The internet tried to reduce him to a headline. But something unexpected happened. He didn't fall. Studios didn't drop him. Brands didn't erase him. Audiences didn't turn away. If anything, the moment reminded people why he mattered in the first place. He was never designed to fit perfectly into modern Hollywood. He was a leftover from a different era, and that was exactly why he felt real. While others chased relevance, Sam Elliott had already earned permanence. And quietly, the noise faded. By the time most actors start fading into nostalgia, Sam Elliott was doing something few managed to pull off. He wasn't chasing relevance. Relevance was coming to him. Hollywood had changed completely. Superheroes dominated screens. Fast edits replaced slow conversations. Masculinity was louder, flashier, and often performative. And yet, Sam Elliott kept getting cast not because he adapted, but because he didn't. His aging became part of the myth. The gray hair didn't weaken his image, it sharpened it. The wrinkles didn't make him look tired, they made him look experienced. He became the man you believe without explanation. The kind of character who doesn't need backstory because his face already tells it. This phase of his career wasn't about volume, it was about precision. He chose roles carefully, supporting parts that anchored films, voices that gave weight to stories. When he appeared, even briefly, the tone shifted. Directors used him like punctuation, a period at the end of a sentence that makes everything feel final. Off-screen, his life remained almost suspiciously stable. In an industry where marriages collapse under pressure, his relationship with Catherine Ross endured decades together. No public implosions, no ugly divorces, no tabloid cycles of cheating rumors. They didn't sell their love story, and that privacy protected it. People expected secrets. They expected some hidden chaos, but there wasn't one. Sam Elliott didn't live like a rock star. He lived like the men he played, grounded, loyal, routine-driven. That consistency wasn't boring. It was rare. As younger generations discovered him through streaming, memes, and iconic clips, something unexpected happened. He became timeless. Not old-fashioned timeless. His voice turned into a cultural shorthand for honesty, authority, and calm strength. Brands wanted it. Filmmakers wanted it. Audiences trusted it. And here's the truth most don't say out loud. Sam Elliott never needed scandals to stay relevant because he outlived the need for them. While others were remembered for explosions, arrests, and controversies, he was remembered for presence, for restraint, for never begging the spotlight to stay on him. He became less of an actor and more of a reference point, the image of what steady masculinity used to look like, and maybe what it could still be. When the dust settles, when the trends fade, when the noise moves on, Sam Elliott is still there. Not as a headline, not as a controversy, but as a presence. Most actors are remembered for one role, one scandal, one explosive moment. Sam Elliott is remembered for something harder to define: consistency. Over more than 5 decades, he never reinvented himself, never chased youth, never bent to fit whatever Hollywood wanted at the moment. And somehow, that refusal became his greatest strength. He didn't dominate box offices. He didn't rule tabloids. He didn't build a brand around chaos. Instead, he built something rarer: trust. Audiences trusted him to be real. Directors trusted him to anchor a story. Studios trusted him not to embarrass them. And that trust kept him working long after louder stars burned out. Yes, there were moments of tension. Yes, there was backlash when he finally spoke his mind. But even that moment revealed the truth. Sam Elliott was never pretending to be anything else. He didn't fall from grace because he never built his career on approval. His legacy isn't about perfection. It's about endurance. He showed that masculinity doesn't need to be aggressive to be powerful, that silence can be louder than noise, that loyalty, discipline, and restraint still have weight in a culture addicted to excess. And maybe the most uncomfortable truth of all is this: Sam Elliott didn't win Hollywood by playing the game. He won by outlasting it. He became the kind of actor people don't argue about. They just accept, like a horizon, like a voice you recognize before you even see the face. In the end, Sam Elliott wasn't a womanizer, a scandal magnet, or a broken legend. He was something far less dramatic and far more rare. He was exactly who he said he was. And in a world full of noise, that may be the strongest role anyone can play.